Good morning. At least it's not 1,000 degrees out here. It's a little soggy on this side this morning. But welcome to the Horrible Human Beings, the hip hop culture episode. And what made me think about hip hop culture was I got some real good brothers this on a group chat. Just going back and forth about I believe the foundations of hip hop or whatever. But the argument devolved and got so deep into who represent the culture more, who know the culture. Then it just totally broke down, and brothers sitting on there attacking each other like they don't even know each other. And I said, all over what? And that's what made me think about it. And so I thought, if I had to Google culture and see what culture gives people a sense of identity and purpose among ethnic groups. That's one definition, but it's really maybe 15, 16, 17 different definitions of what culture is. So specifically, hip hop culture is hip hop culture. It falls under different umbrellas: black culture, youth culture. But the way we listened to hip hop when we was young, teenagers, I can't listen to it the same way now because I'm not the same. Of course, I'm not 15 or 16 no more, so I'm viewing it like a grown man. And there's nothing wrong with that because part of it is youth driven. But hip hop was always about creativity and expression. I think the problem comes when the exploitation of hip hop and of stereotypes, almost like the more blaxploitation movies from back in the day with Shaft and Three the Hard Way, where the Mac always pimps players. Superfly, of course, classic, but all of them was the same personas and character tropes, as if that was all that the black experience was. So hence the title Blaxploitation. And I wonder, have hip hop made it that I can't expect a 14-year-old or a 15-year-old to understand, because they understand it with the 15-year-old mind, especially if the artist is within 5 years of their age. But to have been old enough to see further than that and been around for different eras now, as I watched two brothers argue about who's for the culture or what's for the culture, but in all honesty, what does the culture do? What does the culture promote amongst those that subscribe to it? And like I said, that's not to say, man, hip hop is all negative and it's a bunch of homicidal tendencies and no, it's not that. Hip hop is just like pizzas. There's a million toppings, or better yet, it's just like pornography. Is mad different flavors. You can get in how you fit in, find what appeals to you. So the fact that you focus on one type or one subgenre of hip hop, that's not the only thing, because for every one end of the spectrum, for it to be a spectrum, it means there's another polar opposite, and that exists in everything in between. And that's what makes hip hop so beautiful, the expression of it from the beginning to now. Now, commercially, when I'm trying to make money off of it, well, then I got to sell what people want, and then now that comes in with manipulation. But what I want to know was, what does the culture do? Does hip hop culture promote me to live longer, to become more successful, to be healthy, to raise my daughters, to raise my sons, to better myself? Can it do that? Or is it just music? At the end of the day, do I exist in another culture? I exist in a culture that's not even an umbrella for that, that's bigger than that. Because before hip hop, it was jazz, R&B, doo-wop. all of these are just musics, and they all have their subgenre or culture that's attached to them. But that culture isn't a way of life. And I would venture that saying the circumstances hip hop was born from, that doesn't necessarily sit with a certain, when you become a grown man or a grown woman, a lot of sentiments change, and they should as your circumstances change. And there's two things that it made me think of. I was fortunate to meet, well, I didn't even get a chance to meet him. I actually was fortunate to interview a living hip-hop legend, icon, there almost from the day of inception, but definitely legendary, Masta Ace. So about maybe a year and a half ago, before last year, definitely, I was able to go up to, long story short, was able to go up to Brownsville, Brooklyn, heart of Brownsville. First time really being in NY, but definitely first time in Brooklyn and Brownsville. And I met the brother Ace, and the thing that strike me the most then, as it strike me now, was how gregarious and genuine he was. And you know, I'm like, oh, this is a hip-hop legend, which he is, but coming to talk to the man and getting to know him as a man, and I've been able to build with him here and there afterwards, it all comes down to, I realized that we define him as hip-hop and to the culture. He defines himself as a man, a father, first and foremost, awesome father. That's what I took away from the meeting more than anything. I'm thinking I want to talk about Juice Crew days and so many industry stories, and you know, I'm a super fan. But what I ended up walking away was being a fan of the man, and ended up calling him Duval. And I realized, so Masta Ace, that's just hip hop. For him was an expression, he's a part of it, but also it's his job, it's how he feeds his family. But I don't think that that's how he defines himself. He, first and foremost, I know he defined himself as a family man, a husband, and a father. Hip hop probably falls somewhere in the echelon, but definitely not in that top hierarchy. And that's coming from an actual legend. And that stuck out the most, was the labels that we superimpose on people versus who the people actually are. The other thing was, Ace puts out music since then to right now, but it has nothing to do with the youth culture. As he's grown and evolved, so has his music. So you can be 46, 52, you know, as long as your music evolves with you, you can put music out, you can put joints out forever, because you're speaking, your audience is growing. But if I stay stuck on the same things I was when I was 15 to 16, well, I'm gonna look pretty stupid being 36 or 43 like I'm 16. And it made me think, it made me think of a small story with, so in 2013, Pusha T put out an album. I forget the name of the album, but Pusha's an awesome lyricist, awesome, more than capable MC. And he had a song called Nostalgia, where you know, Pusha T, for the last 25, almost 30 years, you don't do nothing but sell me coke. You get some good production, you get some definitely great features, you just sell me coke. And this song was no different. You still was just selling me more coke, but Kendrick Lamar was on that song. So in 2013, Kendrick Lamar took the perspective of his verse from, I believe, from being the crackhead, and it was dope. The song is dope. The song is hot, and it's conceptual. Later on down the line, I mean, like maybe a year ago or maybe 2 years ago, when the last Pusha joint came out, it was about the same thing that it's always about. He expressed interest in wanting to do a joint with Kendrick, you know, and Kendrick's Kendrick the same amount of hot he always been if you was a real fan, but Lava been Lava. But Kendrick was like he didn't think he could get on it because he didn't think there was, just being honest, he didn't think there was anything else that they could do together or that he could add. He didn't think there was anything he himself could add that they hadn't crossed. And they only did one song. And therein lies my problem. When we got a culture that's promoted in such a way that it promotes running in place, not to say that's what the culture is, but what's promoted of the culture, stagnant, complacent, running in place at best, and perpetuating destruction at worst. But it's all in what you make it, because at the end of the day, you can turn the music off and it's just music. Now your life, your environment, your circumstances, that's you. You navigate that. But the music, the soundtrack to your life is your choice, no matter what your circumstances or environment is. And so that's Horrible Human Beings, a subsidiary of the Dirtbag Deli. This was the hip hop culture. What good is the culture episode? I'm thinking maybe do 2 or 3 of these because it's a lot to talk about. But have a safe day. Be good out there. Be well.